I had a chance to talk with each one of the finalists, and here's what Lunakills had to say. What was the first thing that came to mind when you heard that you're in the top 10 of the bands that the professionals of music industry have chosen to be in this contest?
I had an Instagram message saying that we are a part of this kind of competition and can they call us, and it was surprising but it was very nice to hear that this kind of like metal export thing is going on. I was honored that we were chosen to be in the 10 bands.
I mean, it was like pretty surreal, like what? We didn't even know this kind of thing was going on. So,
do you know any of the other bands that are on the top 10?
Yeah, we knew obviously Noira and Blame Me was there. We have had gigs and we released albums same time last year, so we knew them because we are obviously on the lighter side of the bands in the music wise. So other bands were much heavier, so we haven't toured or had gigs with them or anything. But
and as you said, you knew a couple of the bands. Have you changed any like opinions or tips during these past couple of years that okay, you got those shows, or what have you done differently to get everybody noticed?
We haven't had like any tip exchanging like moments, but really... obviously when you like talk with another bands and go gigs, and so there will be information like swapped around, like which places to like ask for gigs or something if you don't have representation.
It's more like which places to avoid, maybe.
Yeah. Don't do this and
don't go there.
Mistakes. We can share mistakes.
Share mistakes.
But those are the things that everybody gets the perfect lessons from.
Yeah, that's true.
Exactly.
Is it easy to get your band noticed or get interviews or get shows when the competition is that hard?
It is hard because in Finland, like I said, we have so much great bands and the competition is very hard, and I mean the level of bands they're so good, so it's obviously way more harder. If you have like a representation, obviously it gets a little bit easier, but if you are like solely doing it on your own, it will be very hard. Like getting into festivals without agent, it's not going to probably happen. So in that sense, it is very hard. Yeah. But it's also good because if you have competition, you always want to be better.
All of the bands on the top 3 and I think also in the top 10, they also perform in English. So of course, then you can also do shows outside Finland. So have you thought about like touring outside Finland?
Of course, obviously.
Sure.
Yeah, that's like we are aiming to go abroad because obviously music. In English has wider audience there, and I think rock and metal music as well have a big audience in Europe as well. So that is something that we are aiming to do, and we have done like smaller tours in Russia, and we have like a couple gigs outside of Finland as well. But that's something that we want to do.
How were those experiences?
Very different than Finland. I mean, the audience is much more lively, I would say.
Yeah.
Like, no shade to Finnish audiences, they are also great, but they are much more excited about bands and music, and it's like it's more crazy, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot easier to get your audience excited about your music on a gig. Like
even if they don't know you.
Yeah, even if they have never heard of you before, they just might come into gig and start singing along in the first song, even they don't know the lyrics.
If it's a good chorus, then
in the second chorus, I heard it once. Okay, I can sing it now.
But have you ever been to Latin America as a tourist?
No.
So what's your impression about, for example, Brazil?
Hot.
A lot of football fans.
When I think about Latin America and Brazil, I think that they have like more culture and like they're more vibrant than Finnish people. I would say.
Social media is a good way to also get in contact with fans all around the world. So what are the most exotic places you've got some messages from?
It would probably be like
So what kind of messages have you had?
Well, first time we got contacted, we had our old name, which is Tocornal, and it's a wine in Latin America. So there was like
I
this
think
guy.
it's like from Chile.
Yeah. And there was this guy who messaged us about like, oh my God, are you a band from Finland and you have like wine in your name or something? And do you know that it's a big wine here? And we were like, yeah, we know. We were trying to be edgy.
Did you choose the name because of the wine?
Yeah. But we have chosen differently now.
Yeah.
We're not the band anymore. So.
Wine was like involved into that decision making. Yeah.
When talking about social media, how much do you plan beforehand? That what are you going to post in there for like? Do you have like a weekly plan or what to do?
It would be great if we had like weekly or monthly plan. But we do plan the content pretty like meticulously, like what kind of pictures, and I think with our band, our image is very important to us. So that is something we plan very carefully in social media, but not like in weekly sense. But if we have releases coming or music videos or something, then it's more like planned out at what we do like in this week and how many times we are posting on my stories and that kind of things.
Do you see it more as a burden or as an advantage that it is such an easy way to contact with your fans?
It's both, definitely, because it takes a lot of work, and nowadays you have to be like very good at everything, like marketing, photography, videography, and like then we have new platforms coming like TikTok, and it's like different than Instagram, totally different, and different kind of content gets pushed in there and gets noticed more. So you have to be on top of like how social media is evolving all the time. So it's exciting, but pretty draining also, because then you have less time to focus on music and in that like main stuff.
Yeah, I mean you just like make a ton of work, like designing all the things that you're gonna put in the social media, and then you just at some point like, wait, we had to write some songs.
But it's also a very good tool, contacting and being in connection with people and like fans and such. You can have like also very good PR there if you do things correctly and know how to use Business Manager.
Do you think that it's more important these days that the band is the full package with the style and the music videos and the pictures, and it's not only about the music to get people interested?
I think it's necessary to have like sort of 360 experience with the band. Let's say managers or agents or some come across the band, it's easier to pick them up and push them forward if they have everything under control.
Do you think that now after the pandemic the world is getting back to normal and you feel like positive about the future?
Last 2 years have not been very optimistic and positive in a sense, but now it feels like everything is starting to be in like normal space again, like on new normal, I would say.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely when you have like see all these festivals and gigs starting to come up, you get more excited and more optimistic about the future, and we definitely are.
Yeah. I know that you're releasing new music also in the end of the summer, but how far ahead have you thought about your future? Like, what's gonna happen in the next, like, let's say 2 years?
Well, we have like 2 albums full of songs ready to go.
Yeah.
So that's something we are most definitely thinking about doing, like new record. We're just like waiting
like
labels or somebody to like. But we are trying to get like gigs going on again after 2 years, because it has been hard like for smaller bands to get anything booked. So that's something, because that's the main thing we are most excited about with band, is playing live shows.
Yeah.
Now you have to sell yourselves to the audience who are voting. So why should they vote for you?
Oh no! Why? But why?
But why should they?
Why should
I don't
they,
know.
though?
Is it because we're so great, or the music's so catchy, or like we're just a delight for humankind? I don't know. One of those reasons, probably.
Yeah.
I don't know. We are a very good live band, so I think that the winner gets like tour in Latin America. So we are like obviously a band to see live in Latin America.
Yeah, you should vote
Finland.
just to see us live.
Yes.
Yeah, because it's
Definitely.
it's worth it. Yes.